Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Power Up You and Your Business to the Next Level December Summit. Can you believe it's already December, end of the year? I can't believe it. And I always say when you work and you live on purpose, it just time flies when you have fun, right? So it doesn't really feel like the year is just flying by. I can't wait to introduce you a lot of amazing guests that from our community that are going to share with you a lot of great insight as we're ending this year and we're heading for 2023 and we are setting our visions and missions and goals for 2023. I think it's very timely to kind of get the inspiration you need, and also I'm sure that the value everyone will be sharing with you is going to be really great insight so that you can have those great aha moments for next year. But just to remind you, this summit is sponsored by the Life School, where our mission is to empower entrepreneurs with the right education and skills to build a legacy business on purpose. I'm your host, Alona Lapari. And just like I said, we have brought you amazing experts that will share their journey and expertise in helping you level up for 2023 and whatever's left from 2022. So I want to welcome all my guests to the stage, to the virtual stage. Hello, hello. Thank you so much, everyone, for being part of our summit today. I can't wait to hear a little bit more regarding what you do, your journey, some of, I guess, the most pivotal points that led to the work that you're doing today, and also just enlighten us with your area of expertise. We can't wait to learn and grow and hear more regarding what you do and what you would like to share with us. So I'll start with my first speaker, Jackie Zapoli. Jack is an amazing contact, I should say, that I've gotten the pleasure to meet, and we've built a really great relationship over time. So I can't wait to have her share a little bit regarding her journey and what she wants to teach us today regarding strategic partnerships. I think that's a really important topic in business. And as we grow and expand, we're always looking for ways to bring in and collaborate and grow our brand together and develop win-win relationships in life and business, because at the end of the day, it's really what it's all about. So, Jackie, welcome. You have the
Thank
stage.
you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on here today. It's a pleasure to be able to end the year with you. And as I started my own business a long time ago, as my first concern was, how am I going to be able to talk to the people that I meet and not have to buy their product, not have to do their insurance, not have to do all those things to be able to build that relationship. And so as I looked at that whole concept, and I got a little scared about what the heck I was going to do about that. I was sitting in the backyard in the spa, actually looking up in the sky at an airplane. And after the concept of how they got that in the air, I looked and I thought, 200 lives would be effective if anything happened to that airplane. And then I realized each person knew 600 people. And then I began to realize all I really needed to do was to talk to one person. Well, that made it easier, but I didn't know exactly how I was going to talk to that person. So I figured out that there really are two things that each of us have, even babies. We have a need and we have an expertise. And because of that, I can help someone with their need or a resource, or better yet, an alliance. So it became a lot easier, and people don't pay attention to the alliance concept. So as I began to develop that, I realized people buy because of word of mouth. We can all agree on that. And the people that make you word of mouth, you can't go over to someone and say, make me word of mouth. The people that make you word of mouth are what I call alliances, because they are targeting the same audience you are targeting. You don't compete. There's no way to compete with anyone else unless you're both selling jewelry. You know what I mean? So they are targeting the same people. Well, guess what? They live in LinkedIn. They live in LinkedIn. So I decided to take my concept of looking at your database to the largest database that I know of, 800 million members. Well, people got there and they went, "What? How am I supposed to do anything with this? I don't know what to do with it. It's so complex." So I made it very simple. And what I do is I help people to go from the virtual events where they're kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall because maybe some people pay attention, maybe they don't, and intentionally find their best alliances in LinkedIn. Intentionally. So we start with a Zoom call and I figure out who their best alliances are. Once we find out who their best alliances are, then I help them to make over their profile so that it's not only not enticing is not really the best word, interesting, might kind of magnetic to not only customers, but to alliances. So they're not reading about what mountain you move for somebody. They're looking at what the results are that you can bring them. And after the makeover, then I actually help them to work on how to find those alliances and get them to engage with them. Finding them is one thing, but actually getting them to collaborate instead of trying to sell a product. Heaven only knows how many of us have gone through this stupid effort of buy my product, buy my product. I don't want to buy your product. I want to build a relationship. You don't even know me. So I teach you how to talk to them. And it starts with a toolbox. You need to know what you're going to give in exchange. They're not going to do it for nothing. What are you offering them in the services you provide that will help others to see you and how wonderful you are so they come to you? So, what I do in LinkedIn is I make LinkedIn made profitable by showing you how, with your own connections, with your mutual connections to your best alliance, and dig just a little deeper. You don't have to go through this whole big thing. You don't have to automate anything. There are thousands waiting. So, my whole concept is to build word of mouth for you through engaging alliances in LinkedIn. That's it.
I love that, Jackie. I love that. You hit home with so many points in your message right there. And LinkedIn, I know, is a gold mine. And a lot of times we don't know what to look for. You know,
Mhm,
we
mhm,
don't have the clarity. So we go, I guess, with the old habits of kind of, selling to people right away without building a relationship and all of that. We all have experienced it. That's why that really hit home. But the name of the game is all about relationships, and you have to be purposeful. You have to be intentional, right? And we already have a gold mine in our network anyway, which we undervalue because we don't know what we're looking for. And our mind is always focused on client, client, client. But we must,
mhm.
we must be missing a lot of other opportunities and
Absolutely.
that
Mhm,
because our focus is always like, on that one thing. So we got
mhm,
to open up our focus and do that. That's really amazing work that you do. And I'm such a
mhm,
big pioneer of relationships and invest. I feel like relationships is just like a bank account, and investing
mhm,
in personal relationships with people is always going to give the best ROI eventually down the line. Not, always through that lens of a new client, but on other opportunities that people can open up for you. So it's really cool. I'm so curious, how did you get to the work that you're doing now? Like, what led you to really be passionate about what you teach people now?
Well, what got me to it was that first of all, I used to I used to teach desktop publishing. That was what I started out with. And when I was sitting in a conference room in the Chamber of Commerce in Fremont, California, I looked around and I said, I'm not paying 250 bucks for a plaque on my wall. There's got to be something better here. And that's when I realized that everyone else was having the same difficulty I was in that they weren't building relationships. They were pushing whatever it is they wanted people to buy. And it didn't make sense to me. Nobody's going to go buy your product unless you get really lucky at the right timing. And good luck on that one. So I began to develop this whole philosophy, and I started networking groups, 10 of them in the Bay Area in Northern California, and then a franchise. And then as I moved, the people said, well, what do we do with the referrals? Oh, God, are you kidding? They don't know. They don't know. They don't have a clue what to do with alliances. So that's what started it.
Mm. I always love to hear the backstory because there's always a story of why we do the work we do now, and whatever we're doing now is preparing us for whatever else we're gonna do in the future. So it's really about that connecting the dots of our life experience, and yeah, you identified a problem, and you now have a great solution for people. So really, really cool stuff. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for
Thank
everything
you.
you shared.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, amazing. I'm on to my next speaker, Dwayne Light. He's one of our amazing community experts, and I can't wait to hear a little bit more regarding what he will share with us today. Dwayne, welcome.
Hi, Alona. Thanks. So nice to be here. Can you hear me okay now?
Yes.
Good, good, good. Yeah, so I am a holistic attorney and life coach and meditation teacher. Um, for me, holistic means working with the whole person, the mind, the body, the heart, the spirit. So, what I specialize in is taking clients or witnesses who are heavily stressed and overwhelmed by some legal drama and working with them in a variety of ways so they can show up in court or deposition or a hearing or negotiation, mediation, clear minded, calm, balanced, grounded, centered, and with an air of compassion and caring and empathy. And I found in the law that these are incredibly powerful. What happens in court is a judge or a jury is going to rule in favor of people that they like and trust. So you need to show up in an authentic way. But also, I've seen over and over many people who don't prepare well. They've spent the day before this event cramming facts into their head, reading through emails and documents and lists and timelines, all of that, and they show up at their big legal day, and their mind is just full of stuff, and they've worn out their brain. They may not have slept well also, so their brain is operating at 50 or 60% capacity. So I teach breath work, I teach meditations, I teach them about the legal system and help them to reframe their attitudes and beliefs about the system. That at its essence, it's really about the golden rule. It's about doing the right thing for people. And judges in general want to do the right thing. They want to find out, who can I trust here? Who should I believe? Who deserves to win here? So that's a brief overview of what I do.
Yeah, it's really, really amazing. So, Dwayne, walk me through your framework. I would love to hear a little bit more regarding how you specifically help your clients. It's really cool work, and I like the holistic approach because
Mm-hmm.
we're not people that live in a vacuum, and we don't always just have one thing happening. We have a million things happening at once. So, it's really cool stuff. So, just walk me through your framework. How is it that you help your clients? I'd love to hear a little bit more regarding that.
Okay. Well, one thing I teach is called resolve painful conflict through the peace method, and that's PEACE. And the P stands for pause. So whenever you have a troubling phone call or email or letter from an attorney or from a court, to not react emotionally, because you're probably going to just make the conflict worse or say something you shouldn't have said. So you take a gracious pause. You let the other person know, this is serious. I need a day or two to think about it. I'll get back to you. And then in that time period, the E stands for embody. I want people to go into their body, into their feelings, into their emotions, and using a variety of methods for clearing emotions and healing and releasing them or lightening them enough so you can be more functional and rational. And the A stands for acceptance, to accept the situation, to not fight reality. A lot of our minds are going with inner complaints and stories about the other person or about lawyers or about judges or the legal system. So to reframe the mind and accept reality as it is. Then the C is to create the way forward, how you're going to speak, how you're going to, in a hearing, what you need to prepare in advance, understanding the legal issues and framing out a few arguments. And then the E is empower. And through the breath work that I teach and physical empowerment, getting the posture aligned, um, deep breathing. Most people breathe very shallowly under stress and they're not oxygenating their brain. So retraining the breath is a big part of it. So anyway, that's an overview of the P system. And then I also teach a 21-day course because these changes, as we know, don't happen immediately in an afternoon workshop. So I do a daily offering of meditations, practices, teachings that they can work with during the day. And I have them keep a calendar so they can write down which practices they prefer to do each day. And then I do a 30-minute personal coaching call with them each week during the 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Wow, an overall system sounds like a framework that you have developed and you're helping people with sustainability, which is so important. So they can learn these for themselves and uh, learn to how not to react, especially in those emotional situations. That's a tough one, yeah. And I applaud you for the work you do because there's so much, sometimes holding the space for someone during that time is makes a whole, world of difference, even in the results or on the outcomes of what they're going through. So really amazing work. And Dwayne, I'm curious, what led you to the work that you're doing today? Share with us a few of the, I guess, pivotal points that led you to why you do what you do.
Yeah, I think the foundation is I've been fortunate to have a quite deep spiritual life and to have traveled the world and studied and practiced and taught meditation in China and Taiwan and India and Nepal and Tibet and all over and here in the US. So that is really the foundation, is that personal development. And then I went to law school so I could work on peace and environmental issues. So from the beginning, I was working for a lot of nonprofits and various groups. At one point in Seattle, I was working for 27 different activist groups. And then I was sent to Asia on a rainforest protection project. Spent a month in Borneo. So anyway, I entered law in that way. And then after some more deep meditation retreats and openings, experiences in Asia, when I came back to the US, I decided I still do some environmental things, but I decided that my true work was working with people and helping them through the process, being their attorney, um, but also helping them in the ways that I just described. So that has just grown and developed over the years.
Yeah, I mean, I love that. Nothing happens by chance, right? You probably didn't know how this whole entire thing was going to connect, but look at that, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think we all share common experiences with that, based on the work that we do, and it does, I think it's always interesting to kind of hear the backstory behind why we do what we do, because that gives what we do a bigger purpose and a bigger reason why we're passionate about the impact we want to make in our own authentic ways. So, very, very cool stuff. Thanks so much for sharing.
Thank you. Oh, and my website is Peace in the Law, peaceinthelaw.com. And I just want to say I'm writing a book called The Law of Love. And it's supposed to
Mhm.
talk about how law in some ways is shifting more toward a compassionate format. And it's really written for 2 or 3 or 400 years from now, whenever we are living as true, evolved, happy, peaceful, loving, cooperative human beings, what would law look like then?
I love the title. I love the title. When you have it ready, come back here and we would love to talk more about that because I also share a big passion for books. And I find that that's a legacy product, like something you put out there in the world and you put all your experience together. It could be someone else's guide. So absolutely. I love that. Thank you so much for everything that you are sharing with us today. And I'm going to my other speaker now, Laura. Robertson. I tend to butcher names, so don't mind me. We have been nurturing our relationship. We've never actually
Yes.
virtually met, so I'm so excited to see you live, I guess,
You
virtually
too. Yes, definitely.
live. And I know you do amazing work because I've been following you for
Thank
a while.
you. You too.
I'm very grateful you are here and can't wait to
Thank
hear a
you.
little bit more regarding your journey and the work that you do today.
Thank you. See, and I made it easy for you. I didn't put my legal first name. I used my middle name.
You knew it. You knew it. I love it.
You wouldn't have been able to pronounce it probably, but it's Nipapan. That's my birth name. And it means blessing from heaven.
Oh, love the meaning behind it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So thanks for having me. Awesome. So a little bit about my entrepreneurship journey. I actually, I think it was more, I landed into this by following not my own path, but what path God had for me. I was working corporate at the time, and I worked at a corporate position for 5 years. I had played roles as regional manager, traveling around the country, opening up new centers for doctors across the country, and mainly working with the sales team and helping them grow the business. And, my last year there, I just, I felt there was something else that I was supposed to be doing. But not only that, I had clients and patients coming to let me know that, hey, you're bigger than this room. You're bigger than this. Like God has you doing something else. And so I'm sitting there looking at my gross pay. Like, are you serious? Like, year to date was 213 grand. Like, how do I just take this leap and just leave, right? And so we're talking about entrepreneurship journey, and this is my own personal experience. And I took the time to plan and found a space, and I gave my resignation December of 2019. And during that transition time, I was building my space. I had a brick and mortar, and I didn't entirely know what the vision was or what I'm supposed to open up, but I knew that I had to combine all of my passion together and help entrepreneurs, help women who were once like myself, who was a single mom, who was on welfare, refugees, immigrants. I'm a refugee, and I actually came to America with only $40 and a dream. And so I was born homeless in the refugee camps of Thailand. And after my father had fled the war that had ravaged our homeland, and I talk about in my book, I actually wrote a book during the pandemic called $40 and a Dream that talks about my experience in that. But I actually had my grand opening. On March. I think it was that Friday. I don't know, March 17th, let's say. And the pandemic and the shutdown was 3 days later on that Monday, a couple days later on that Monday. So we had a ribbon cutting arranged and everything. And the president of the chamber called me, and she's like, Laura, do you still want to do this ribbon cutting? The shelves are empty at the grocery stores. I'm the only one that's going to come show up and support you. But do you still want to do this? And I told her, let's take a break. Let's pause, let's see what happens. And so we waited a little bit, 1 week turned into 3 months, 3 months turned into 6 months, turned into 1 year. In the meantime, I just took out the lease for my brick and mortar. So I had to continue to pay it, right? And so because at one point I'm like, okay, this dream was given to me on purpose and for a reason. I'm going to continue to pay this even though we're not occupying the space. I'm going to continue to pay this no matter what I had to do. Right. So during that time, 1 year, of course, turned into like 2 years. Right. So I had to, during that transition time, I had to figure out like, what is it that I can do in the meantime? And I listened, and I paid attention to what people were coming to me the most, and what people were coming to me the most was to ask business questions, right? And so because more so like on their branding, right? And so I ended up doing like transitioning and learning as much as I can. I'm self-taught, and I'm like learning as much as I can on how can I help the women that are coming to me, the entrepreneurs that are coming to me, grow and build their brand and help them transition to their business. So that's when I started building clients, and then I started learning how to do the branding side and the websites and the graphic design, the social media. So this was like an accidental, on purpose entrepreneur journey and on purpose business, right? And so that's how I came, that's what I do now. My company is Beautiful Potential Consulting. And Beautiful Potential was also a name that during my long drives to my corporate job, it just popped up in my head. And you're supposed to teach other people that no matter where they came from, even if it's the dirts of of a camp, dirts of a homeless shelter, like they can still be prosperous and make over 6 figures or whatever they want to make, as long as they believe in themselves and have faith and continue to follow their passion, right? And so Be You to Full Potential is my business. And if you break it down, it's Be You to Full Potential. So that's what my main goal is, to help other entrepreneurs build their dream business and continue to grow their brand image. My background is also in beauty. So I have a brick and mortar that is actually a branding studio, a beauty studio. So I have salon studios. And what I do with that is I have entrepreneurs, independent salon owners that just don't want to have the overhead of opening up an entire business all by themselves. So they're in there now, and they can grow off of my space. My goal is to help them develop so that eventually they can spread their wings and get bigger than that and have their own space. And so I feel like right now it feels so good, like to know that, I persevered through that. I pivoted through my growing pains, and now I'm able to see that I'm truly living in my purpose and helping other people also realize their purpose and their dreams, right? My very first client a couple years ago, I helped her start a counseling center. And year to date this year, she sent me a snapshot of, look at my snapshot year to date. It's like $1.1 million. So before I was helping doctors make millions, and now I could proudly say I'm helping small business owners, women like me, be able to make their millions, And so it feels so good when you are actually living in your purpose and you're doing absolutely what you're called to do. And, my other side is that I'm an author, and I'm a speaker. So I do, speaking engagements. And, one of the things that also, when I was working at corporate my last year, I didn't believe all of this was going to happen, because you don't know what the future holds. But I did remember a conversation that I had with one lady that came in to see me, and she didn't even need the services. Somehow she ended up on our calendar. I think it's just to send me a message. And, and she said, after she's like, oh, where are you from? That's the common conversation that I have with people. Where are you from? And then I end up sharing my story with them a little bit. And she's like, I see you in a building with women lined outside waiting to hear your story. And, at the time, I wasn't thinking about writing my book. I wasn't thinking about doing any of that. But fast forward to this past April or May, I was actually sitting in the corporate office of Our Daily Bread in Grand Rapids as a keynote speaker for them. And as I'm looking out the window, seeing women lined up to come in to hear my story, that conversation popped up. So that reminded me that I am walking in my purpose and continuing to let God lead. Like none of this is my, like me doing. Like I'm just following the path that I'm led to follow. And when I know and get confirmation from clients, that's when I know, okay, I am doing the exact thing that I'm supposed to be doing. And it's the best feeling, you know, it's definitely the best feeling.
Wow, Laura, I mean, what a journey, right? I mean, universes, redirection, someone
Mhm.
vision casting for you, you connecting the dots. I mean, I could see
Yeah.
myself behind so much of what you shared with the part of the corporate, letting go of security for this crazy ride of entrepreneurship. And then kind of
Yes.
venturing out of, I guess I call everything projects, like
Yep.
projects are going forward or not going forward, and it kind of
Exactly.
like redirects you. So we have to be very open and aware, and
Mhm.
and catch the signs, because
Yep.
that's really what's supposed to be in our path and all of that. So
Exactly.
spirituality is one of those things that I find like business is a spiritual game.
Mhm.
Entrepreneurship is
Mhm.
absolutely a spiritual game. So
Absolutely.
I love that,
Absolutely.
everything you shared with us it was really so inspiring,
Thank
to
you.
kind of hear your story as well, and
Thank you.
find those commonalities between that. So, of course, I'm going to pick your brain on branding, because
Sure.
we have an audience of entrepreneurs. So, what
Yeah.
do we need to know regarding how to brand ourselves, which I know is very important to
Yeah.
position.
Yes. Yes. I did, I did a lot of like reading and training on branding and you the brand, like you are your brand. So when you walk into the room, how you interact with people, how you're representing yourself, your interaction with people, and one of the first things that pops up to me is, during the things that I picked up along the way, learning from other experts, is that a lot of times when someone asks us, what do you do? We tend to want to give the titles, right? Like, oh, I made blah, blah, blah. But I think that what I learned along the way is, I'm always a student. So what I learned along the way is that it's more impactful when you can connect the dots of the results that you bring, you know? So like helping, whatever you do as a result of what you bring. But branding is about your image as well, and that's what I work with my clients on. Like when they come to my photo shoots at my studio, I have a salon as well doing their makeup, and because that's also important, how you look and it's gonna dictate how you feel. Because I know that me myself personally, when I don't have myself together, when I'm just like, oh, because I'm a mother of four and I have two grandkids, so sometimes I am looking crazy, right? And at those moments, like I don't want to go up and approach someone, or I'm not as bold or confident, right, to come up and say something to someone, or like meet and greet someone. So you always want to be your walking brand, right? You always want to be your walking business card, because someone's going to come up to you if you're approachable, if you're feeling confident, you're always going to be attracting people to you, right? Your spirit, your confidence, and you're happier. When you look good, you feel good. So you're happier. And that has to do with your brand image as well. Now, the other side of branding is also the virtual brand image, right? You want to make sure that the things that you're putting out there is also visually appealing, right? Like your social media, your profile photos, things like that, because every single piece of material represents you and your business and what you are trying to put out there. And there's so many like easy ways, and I teach my clients that don't have a budget. I will teach them, like, listen, I will train you on how to make your products look good, how to do whatever you need to make your brand look good and stand out, right? And so because I really took that passion, it helped me through the pandemic, because I was able to get different projects, and like you said, projects, right, to be able to sustain financially. And now I'm able to sustain my business too, because now I'm not at a loss. I'm not paying the rent every month in an empty building. For 2 years I did that, so finally the space is filled, with other entrepreneurs that now can grow and launch and be prosperous. So your brand image is everything, but your confidence, your brand confidence is what's going to allow you to shine. Your representation, when you're speaking, having the confidence in what you say, and that's going to take it to the next level.
Absolutely. Brilliant, brilliant, because a lot of us are into service, right? So we are the brand, we are the personal
Yes,
brand. People build trust with us. So, of course, it's all a transfer of energy at the end of the day as
exactly.
we are impacting other human beings. I always say we're in the business of people, right?
Yes, people business.
People
Absolutely.
business. Tony
Yeah.
Robbins, I got reminded of this the other day. Tony, I attended one of his business seminars, and he's like, okay, very persistent about asking the question, what business are you in? I'm like,
Yep.
this is my business, what I do, but it's like deeper than that. Like, no, 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 hold on, go down a few layers. What business are you really in? And it makes you really think about, the core of why we do what we do. And it
Absolutely.
grounds you. Sometimes when you lose purpose and focus, and it happens, we're all people, right? I mean, we have a lot happening. We're not always 100% emotionally, I guess, but then we can just rest and then wake up the next day and just start all over. And when you're doing the right thing, it pulls you. It's no longer necessary, so that you can push
Exactly.
yourself through the things. So beautiful,
Exactly.
beautiful, beautiful sharing. Thank you so much, Laura.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
happy to have met you and learn a lot more about you as well. For the
Thank
audience,
you.
definitely took away a lot of great insights.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. That was exciting. Yeah.
Absolutely. We have actually reached the end of our summit today. I'm so grateful for everything all our guests have shared with us. And before I let them go, I will ask each of them one for a final message from their school of life, because I love what you said, Laura. We're all students of life. Life is always
Yes.
teaching us things. So I also call myself a life student. So,
Yeah.
what is one final message from your school of life that you want to share with our audience? And also, where is it that people can connect with you? Jackie.
One thing I would like to share is a quote that I use all the time from Gary Spence is to be open to wonder rather than closed by belief.
Yes.
And you can get a hold of me at Jacqueline, JACLYNZOCCOLI.com. You'll find Jacqueline Zaccoli at LinkedIn as well. So either way, would love to talk to you. Spiritually, all of us are aligned as the thread goes through us, and that's what I love about this group. I am doing many things globally. I'd love to talk to Dwayne about that, and I work with a lot of women. To be able, Laura, to be able to work with you too. So be sure that you all get your contact information out so that, and I think we probably could do it with the beautiful and the raise the law, peace and the law. So yeah, thank you so
Awesome.
much, Elena.
Absolutely. Beautiful, beautiful. And we always need that. And I always say that at the end of every event. Sometimes we come for, because we want to share our message with the world. We want to make impact. We want to impact other new people that don't know of us yet, right? So that's always the purpose, but you always end up with these amazing relationships just from the
Mhm.
people in here. And you just never know where in the journey you will align somewhere. And that person could be a key player uh,
Mhm.
in your personal individual entrepreneurship journey. So having a long-term vision and that kind of mindset is crucial, at least what I found in our journey as entrepreneurs. Awesome. Thanks so much, Jackie. Dwayne?
Yes, thanks, Alona. Yeah, what a wonderful gathering. Um, yeah, I just want to say that when any of us opens our heart
Mhm.
and we rest in compassion and care and empathy and mutuality and fairness and truth, it opens other people's hearts. It works. I've seen it with judges. I've seen it in court and trial. It just you become you become who people want to be. They admire you. They want to follow you.
You get to influence people. That's the most beautiful thing. Absolutely. And where is it again? I know you shared your website before. Can you share it again? Where is it that
Yeah,
people can contact you,
yeah.
Dwayne?
You can reach me at Dwayne at peaceinthelaw.com.
All right.
AINE.
DUANE.
Okay.
DUANE.
Okay.
Awesome. And for easy access, all the links of all our amazing speakers will be shared inside our Facebook group community, Life School, Alona Lapari, so that you can have an amazing community on there and share it with one another and connect to one another easily. So um, that's always there as well. And Laura,
Yes.
your
So
final.
so I would say, if you're doing something right now you're not passionate about, whether it's work or life or relationships, anything, find your passion in life. What's going to drive you to live happy every day. Expect obstacles. You have to expect it. And being able to learn how to pivot and grow from each obstacle that you're given. So if you expect it, it's not going to be a surprise, right? And then just keep going. Most of all, look inside your why, what drives you. Continue to have faith and continue to learn and grow, and you will have the best feeling, when you can do that, when you can find that you're in the right place of where you need to be. You will be able to grow and attract the things that you want in life. And don't be scared. New Year's come in, vision boards, manifest what you want and continue to, attract those things that you want in life, because it's possible. It's possible for everyone. Each one of us have something so powerful inside of us that we don't even know, some of the things we haven't even tapped into. So that's the message that I would give, that, over that you have it inside of you, and don't compare yourself to other people. It's already there for you. So you are a masterpiece.
Beautiful. And Laura, where is it that people can connect with you?
So I have my business is beautifulpotential.com. Beautiful is all spelled out. BEAUTIFUL, potential, POTENTIAL.com. That's my business. I also have my personal website where I do the speaking, and my book and stuff is on there as well. It's Laura and then the dash Robertson. So LAURA dash Robertson, ROBERTSON.
All right. Well, there you have it. I hope that you enjoyed this summit. For those of you that are watching and are going to be watching after the live as well, I want to thank my speakers again today for all their beautiful messages that they shared with us. I always walk away with so much inspiration and also new insights and new aha moments, which I think shifts our perspective and just opens up, our mind to new ideas and new amazing visions to impact more people. At the end of the day, that's really what what our work is always about. And I also want to remind you that I have a free workshop series set up for January, just in time for those of you that are setting up your business goals for 2023, where I'll be teaching. For those of you that have grabbed my book, Purpose Driven Entrepreneurship, I'll be teaching my framework, which I've developed over time from working with corporations and also seven-figure businesses, to what I have found is the fundamental of every business, which is mindset, branding, marketing, sales, systems, and team, to make an impact and to make the income that you're looking for. And that's going to be January 9. And I'm also going to add the details to that workshop. So I would love to invite my amazing speakers there as well, as we're going to be having a great time and share the knowledge that I have learned over the 20 years journey of helping businesses grow, in helping you making the most impact, and which is why I do what I do at the end of the day. So thank you so much again for everyone that has been watching us, and I will see you in our January summit. Have a great rest of your day. Bye, everybody.
Yeah. Bye.